Candace again. If my grades were half as good as that coming out of high school, I might have actually done something with my life. But wow. So thank you guys for inviting me and taking the time to come out. Thanks to Mr. Sepp for the invitation, for the opportunity to actually speak with you guys this evening. So when we had the conversation about, hey, would you mind coming and talking at the dinner? I said, whoa, that's kind of a hefty load, right? I hang up the phone, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna have the attention of these future college students. They're right here at the precipice of a major milestone in their lives, and they've got their parents or their guardians or what have you. This is kind of big. What am I gonna wear? and that was important to me because I don't know if you guys heard my son's senior speech, but he kind of took a poke at my fashion sense. And so hopefully, son, I did you proud today. So the other thing I had to question was like, what tone am I gonna strike? Right? So it's a graduation, so I can kind of hit them with the unbridled optimism. You're gonna go out into the world and you're gonna crush it. That felt a bit inauthentic. Or I could kind of give you the parental advice approach, and I just didn't want 24 sets of eyes rolling at me because I'm sure you've gotten enough of that advice already. So I figured what I would do is I take the cool uncle approach, if that's okay. Right? And so the cool uncle approach is, I don't know if you guys have that person in your life where they don't really give you answers to your questions, they just give you more to think about, and hopefully through that you can kind of get the answers for yourself. So I'm just gonna take the cool uncle approach. And one thing that I was absolutely, positively clear about is, look, I got an audience of 17, 18, 19-year-olds. I know what I'm gonna talk about, and that's how to get lucky. Right? Now, before you start clutching your pearls, parents, all right, just know how to get lucky is all about luck, right? And I define luck as the place where preparation and opportunity meet, all right? Where preparation and opportunity come together. And I think it's pretty interesting that you guys have spent the last 12 years getting prepared, right? So just kind of follow this flow. You've been preparing since middle school, you've been learning a lot of stuff, come through high school, learning a lot of stuff, and now you have this opportunity called graduation. You have this opportunity called college. You have this opportunity called next step, whatever, fill in your blank, right? And now you're gonna capitalize on that opportunity, and you're just gonna create what others outside of the folks who know that you've been really putting in the work, people are gonna say, oh, you've been lucky, right? You can say, yeah, damn straight I've been lucky, but I've been putting in the work to capitalize on that opportunity, all right? So what's also kind of interesting, I think, is that when you're at a milestone like this, it's like you can look back, let's say at your middle school years, and just show of hands, how many people think they can go to third grade and ace it right now, right? Not a lot of confidence in the room right now. I'm a little concerned about bullshit things that's going forward, all right? But I think you get to a point. Everybody knows that, hey, look, if I had to go back in time, I could crush it. I know that, right? Because I've been there. I'm certain about it. But what about forward in time? Forward in time is where the uncertainty exists, right? And so the challenge in that uncertainty is to try to figure out how do you identify these new opportunities in that uncertainty and capitalize on them in such a way that you can get lucky. All right, so here's what I know. I know that going through EA, you guys have been prepared academically. I don't doubt that, okay? I think that you'll be able to go into any college of your choice, in which we've got 24, sounds like solid choices in the room, and you're gonna do just fine, okay? But it's the life situations piece that I want to talk to you about tonight. Because I find that it's the life situations that tend to trip up even the finest of academically strong students. And so I'm very intentional, by the way, when I say situations. And when I say situations, it's because I believe, and this is just kind of a personal philosophy, that life throws a lot of events at you, and they're more situational in nature. There are very few binary choices, right, wrong, good, and bad, as much as others might try to make you believe that might be the case. Usually, you get situations that you need to manage over time as opposed to problems that you need to solve, right? So problems to solve say, here's a problem, I solve it, it's done, I'll never see it again. Yeah, you get a few of those, but sometimes, and I would argue most times, you get situations that sometimes kind of crop up. They might have a different complexion from time to time, but by and large, you see situations that you have to manage your way through. And so I just want to talk to you guys real quickly about managing through the situations, right? So chances are, you guys are probably thinking about a couple of situations in your current stage, all right? So questions might be going through your mind like, will I maintain the treasured relationships that I have today? You know, my best friends, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, you know, will they continue to be around? I don't know, maybe, right? Will I meet new people that I enjoy more? And if I enjoy them more, does that mean I have to trade off the old people? Or what if my core beliefs, as I'm starting to develop them, start to be different from those of my parents or those whom I love? What do I do? And so I kind of put these all in one bucket, and I call these the why questions, the why situations, W-H-Y. And so the opportunity that you have in the why sorts of situations is to prepare your priorities, or to know your values, in other words. And so Candace just kind of spoke on that a little bit as well, which is if you find yourself with a set of principles that you can lock into, for which they are unwavering and uncompromising, it just helps in life to manage through situations where sometimes you have a little bit of ambiguity around what you ought to do. So as an example, if you walk into my office right now, I've got a list of priorities on my whiteboard, right? They've been there for years, and Noah will tell you, yeah, no, Dad, I get it. You know, they are God, health, family, friends, career, wisdom, and everything else below the line, right? And so the way that helps me is if I'm ever at a point in time in my life where, and this happens, by the way, with life situations where one part of my life is contending for another part of my life, I need a way to understand how to trade that off, right? And if I'm very fluid with the way that I trade that off, I'm going to run into situations where I'm very torn and conflicted. But to have just kind of my values stacked ranked, it helps me know, all right, check that box, yeah, this is a family thing, this is a friend thing, I'm going to do that as opposed to anything else. So one example, your priorities may be different, your stack ranking may be different, and probably is, but I would encourage you guys to figure out where your values are, things that you are just absolutely uncompromising about. Another set of situations. You might be asking yourself, or will soon ask yourself questions like, people around me are doing things, and I'm questioning whether I should do the same. Things like drugs, alcohol, other high-risk behaviors. Should I get involved? Should I not? How much? To what extent? Etc. Those are very rare. Friends around me are being homophobic or racist or religious zealots. So how can I challenge their beliefs without losing my access to them, or without feeling uncomfortable around them, etc. I recognize injustices in the world, but I'm afraid to say something. Should I say something? Should I be explicit in rejecting those injustices? Or perhaps I'll be complicit and effectively endorse those because I do nothing. I have a choice in the matter. I call those my what situations. And the opportunity in the what situations is very simple. It's to act or not to act. Both are a choice. That's a choice that you'll have afforded to you. At the end of the day, the what situations are about courage. Do I have the courage to intentionally do or not do? to act or not act. Final set of situations. I call them the what situations. In the how situations. Just gave you the what. In the how situations. The how situations are questions like, can I eventually support myself? Right? And mom and dad have been carrying the bag for the last 12 years, 18 years. Now I'm getting ready to go to college. Maybe they're carrying the bag still, or maybe I've got scholarships. But after that's done, it's time for me to step up. And can I do that? What does that look like? Calm down. Right? Step by step this thing, all right? I'm feeling stressed or depressed or anxious. What will people think if I go and seek help? Do I want to be that guy or girl? Do I want to walk around with that stigma? How about this one? I get more secure or insecure when I compare myself to others. Is that okay? Is that right? Those are all the kind of the how situations. Let's say the how situations really give you an opportunity, and that opportunity is to prepare yourself by knowing how you personally define success. Your success measure may be all A's, big scholarships, big brand name schools. It could be quality relationships, serving others. Cool thing about life is you get to define that. And by the way, get comfortable redefining that from time to time for yourself, just to continue to put the bar out from time to time, okay? So again, the why, the what, and the how. The why, the what, and the how. I'll end by saying this. I'm fond of a quote. I've heard it personally from the jazz community. And the way the quote goes, it says, the music was never in the piano. The music was never in the piano. And what that effectively says is, the piano is just the tool. It's just the instrument. The music was always in the musician, and it just had to be translated through the instrument. So likewise, I'm going to tell you all, you 24 super awesome graduates, the answers are already in you. The answers are already in you. You guys have been prepared with your why, your what, your how for the last 12 years. You have been prepared. So now, your opportunity is to think critically about the situations in which you engage. Have the courage to act on them, and you'll get lucky all life long. Thank you, guys.